What's up, YouTube? So I'm gonna do like a part series on different what I call choke jobs and World Series, NFL, basketball, because three of the biggest one happen. Then when you blow leads, there's a difference between a choke and then a team that wins a lot of games and doesn't win everything. There's a difference between that. So I'm gonna talk about. But anyway, I'm doing a team by team. I'm talking about how great their talent team was and losing and what it could have meant. We're gonna talk about the Atlanta Falcons that blew that 28-3 lead, which was probably the worst thing in football history, probably, especially at the Super Bowl. Because Tom Brady was looking old. He was looking old and busted. He looked like he was on his last wheels, his last legs, and he didn't look like he had anything in the tank. And it looked like Matt Matt Ryan had finally sealed the deal. He won an MVP. Looked like he was going to actually seal the deal. Julio Jones was going to make himself one of the greatest receivers ever. It looked like it was a 2-for-1 deal. If they win that Super Bowl, I got eggs. I said it would have done wonders. The owner of the Falcons, it would have done wonders for him because he's something like, I don't know how I say it. He's like the broke Jerry Jones or broke somebody. He's always on the sidelines. He's always going through coaches, always going through quarterbacks. And he's like he had it right and it slipped through their fingers. I mean, that's like one of the most disastrous losses. Now, football teams generally, when they lose like that, it's like they're in a coma for a long time because everybody holds that against you. It's not that you lose, it's how you lose. So does it matter? Yeah, it can make a difference. Because, like, if they lost a close Super Bowl, that's one thing. To blow a 28-3 lead, especially with that Edelman catch and all that juggling and everything that went on, and the way they was turning the ball over the first half and to come back from that was crazy. That's one of the craziest Super Bowls I've ever seen, you know. And I bring it up because now Michael Penix just replacing Kirk Cousins at quarterback. The Atlanta Falcons have never been as close again. And you got to wonder if they're almost cursed, it's hacked, because you just don't see that sort of thing. And football is so funny like that because I've seen teams, they know come back. It's hard to come back from, you know, when you blow opportunity, you know. Because people don't understand football is tough like that. I talk about Dan Marino all the time. Peyton Manning was lucky, but you just don't get that kind of luxury. So for Matt Ryan, it was kind of like that was the last of his hoorah in terms of anyone bought him as a credible quarterback. You know, um, Dan Quinn, who's actually the coach of Washington right now, Commanders now, was that had he won that, I don't think he goes to Dallas. Had he won that, I think Atlanta might, you know, get back to a champion, at least an NFC championship game. That was a huge loss. And so it did wonders for Brady's legacy. It cemented him and it anointed him into a whole different level. That was a crazy Super Bowl. And it was a crazy ending. So it was just kind of like reflect on the Atlanta Falcons 28-3 blown Super Bowl and what might have been had they won. Because had they won, that would have been huge. It would have made Matt Ryan. He would have probably had a different trajectory about where he stands amongst quarterbacks that's won a Super Bowl. You know, it's interesting because do you view him ahead of Matthew Stafford? That's a good question because of that loss, the impact of that loss. Anyway, let me know what you think about the Atlanta Falcons 28-3 loss in the Super Bowl. Was that the worst blown Super Bowl loss ever? And if the Falcons had a won, what would it have done for that team? Please hit like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share if you like it. Hit that membership. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out. Peace.